As Marta already told you, my name is Emma Campocosio, and I'm Project Officer working in the Doctoral Network Unit in the European Research Agency, Executive Agency. Just, wait a minute, it doesn't work. Well, I'm doing like this. Sorry, it doesn't work in my keyboard. So
it
just
has changed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Happy to hear it. So let's first of all give you a context of where they are, the doctoral networks, by providing you an overview, a short overview about doctoral networks. The doctoral networks are part of the Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions that are part of the Horizon Europe framework contract for research and innovation. The duration of this Horizon Europe is 7 years, starting in 21 and will end in 27. And the total budget allocated to this framework program is 95.5 million. Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions are located in the first pillar. Horizon Europe has 3 pillars, and the pillar 1 is excellent science. We share this pilot with, oops, still not working. We share this pilot with European Research Council and Research Infrastructure. And Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī has a budget of 6.6 billion euros. What can I say in a few words about MSCA actions? Well, they are the European funded reference for doctoral education and postdoctoral training. They support researchers from all over the world in all scientific disciplines and in all stages of their career, offering them attractive working and employment conditions. From this, I can tell you that Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions are divided into 5 actions which take care of the life of the researcher, of the career of the researchers from the beginning until the working area. And our doctoral networks, as Marta already said, but I think it's nice to highlight another time, the call will be open in the 28th of May 2025. Just in 1 month and a half, and will be closed the 25th of November. The total budget, it is 597.80 million. And just a few figures about the previous framework contract for research and innovation, call it Horizon 2020, taking place from 2014 until 2020. We funded around 1,000 doctoral programs. That means more than 65,000 of researchers, from which 25,000 were PhD candidates. From this total, 40% of researchers were from outside of Europe. So we are creating networks from all over the world. Let's start with our doctoral networks. First of all, just to put us into context, I would like to explain you which is the basis to have a project, a doctoral network project. What do you need? The first thing that you need, it is a consortium. This consortium will be composed by different members, different beneficiaries, which have, all these beneficiaries has a common goal. And this common goal is develop a scientific project. How they will recruit and host in these premises at least 1 doctoral candidate. They will enroll this doctoral candidate in a PhD, and they will give to develop to them an individual project research that we will link it to the other project research. of the other doctoral candidates. And so what we expect, what the European Commission expects, the impact that we expect, first of all, strengthen the European research area. How? Improving the Europe human capital by training highly skilled doctoral candidates. How? Improving the attractiveness of researchers and offering better working and employment conditions. Also, the expected impact is to enhance the quality of the research and innovation, contributing to the European sustainability competitiveness. What it is important to mention also is that we look to establish a sustainable collaboration between the academic and non-academic sector and foster the culture of open science and innovation. What about the participants, the actors? What about the doctoral candidates and the participating organizations? About the doctoral candidates, what we expect the outcomes are to increase their career opportunities and employability, offering them the 3 I's: international mobility, intersectorial experience, and interdisciplinary opportunities. About institutions, participating organizations, we would like to improve the quality, relevance, and sustainability of their PhDs, increasing the global visibility and attractiveness of these organizations. We also would like to improve the collaboration between academic and non-academic sector and the transfer of knowledge between sectors and disciplines. And so, in a doctoral network project, we will find 2 types of institutions, of participants. We will find the academic and we will find the non-academic sector. For us, what it means academic? Well, academics are all the public or private higher education establishments, for example, the universities, public or private, non-profit research organizations, and international European research organizations. Non-academic sector, the rest, small, medium-sized enterprises, for example. And then, how these institutions can participate? They can be beneficiaries or associated partners. The main difference between beneficiaries and associated partners is that the beneficiary signed the grant agreement, and it's mandatory that each of the beneficiaries recruit at least 1 researcher, providing them with the necessary means to develop a project in terms of supervision, laboratories, training, etc. And so the beneficiaries will directly claim cost. Associated partners, the main difference is that they will not sign the grant agreement, so they do not have to recruit and host researchers, but they can participate in the training and they can host secondments. And of course, they can participate in the daily life of the project, but they will not be able to directly claim cost. Regarding the doctoral networks, we have three modes of implementation. We have the standard ones, in which doctoral candidates will be enrolled in a PhD from a member state or an Horizon Europe associated countries. We have the industrial doctorates, in which the researchers will have the opportunity to spend the 50% at least of their fellowship in the non-academic sector, and the joint doctorates, in which each of the doctoral candidates will be enrolled in a joint, double, or multiple doctoral degree. The difference between these 3 is that joint, it's 1 degree signed by different institutions, universities. Multiple, it's several degrees signed by each of them by 1 institution. These all 3 modes compete within the same scientific panels during the evaluations. In our unit, in our evaluation, we have 8 different panels: life science, math, physics, economic science, sociology, chemistry, engineering, and environment. Then the most important features for 2025 about these 3 implementation months are the size. Take into account it is the same for all implementation months, 540 person months. The project duration for standards, DNs, it is 48 months, and the contract duration of fellows is from 3 until 36 months. Secondments up to 1/3 of the duration of the contract of the fellows. Then industrial doctorates, 48 months, the duration of the project, the contract minimum 3 months, maximum 36 months, and this is different. There is no limitation for secondments. Then fellows should spend at least 50% in the non-academic sector. The non-academic institutions can be beneficiaries or associated partners. And then last but not least, the non-academic, the supervision should be a joint supervision. That means that fellows will have a supervisor from the academic sector and another supervisor from the non-academic sector. About joint doctorates, the size, as I told you, for all implementation months are 540 person months. Here is the big difference. There is an incentive for the project duration, which is the maximum 60 months. For the contract of the fellows, between minimum 3 and maximum 48 months. No limitation for secondments and enrollment in a joint double or multiple degree PhD, at least for 1 member state or Horizon Europe associated countries. In this case, there will be a joint admission, selection, training, supervision, and governance. Take into account that in the moment to submit the proposal, you will need to submit pre-agreement letters for all institutions which will award PhD degrees. The template it is in the application form, so there is no problem about it. Then this year, about the novelties, this year there is no novelty compared with 2024, but in 2024, since 2024, we have several novelties that maybe it is important to repeat. The first one is that the living allowance and the mobility allowance were ingressed. The unit costs were ingressed. Then regarding the resubmission restrictions, it's you will need to take into account in the moment of the proposal. If you tick the box in this proposal, in the part A, you will need to take into account the resubmission restrictions, which is that any proposal involving 70% or more of the same recruitment organization, as in another proposal submitted to the previous call, and has received a score of less than 80% will be assessed for whether it is a resubmission, irrespective of the applicant's self-declaration. Another issue that I already mentioned in the previous slides, it is about the joint doctorates that should lead to the delivery of joint double of multiple doctoral degrees, recognizes it in at least 1 European Union member state. Before 2023, if you remember, there were 2, at least 2 European Union member states or Horizon Europe associated countries. Regarding the eligibility rules, let's start with the general one, that at least 3 independent legal entities will compose a consortium, each of established in a different European member state or Horizon Europe associated country. And from these 3, one of these beneficiaries should be from a European Europe member states. all these beneficiaries, all the beneficiaries in the project should recruit at least one doctoral doctorate. They should host this doctoral candidate in their premises and providing the necessary supervision and means and trainings to develop their research project. And not more than 40% of the European Union contribution may be allocated to beneficiaries in the same countries. About the eligible participants, who can apply? Any legal entity, but not all legal entities are eligible for funding. And then a consortium can be composed by universities, research institutions, small, medium-sized enterprises, or other socioeconomic actors, to take into account that there is no minimum or maximum of associated partners to be participating in these projects. Regarding countries, what countries are eligible to participate? Member states, including their outermost regions, the overseas countries and territories linked to a member state, all countries associated to Eurozone Europe, low and middle income countries, and other countries when announced in the call, so they will be mentioned in the call, or exceptional if their participation is essential for the development of the project. Then there are other specific cases, which are affiliated entities established in countries eligible for funding. EU bodies, international European organizations are eligible. Take into account that other international organizations are not eligible, and only exceptionally if their participation is essential or if they are identified in the relevant Horizon Europe Work Program as being eligible, can participate and receiving funding. About the eligible size and duration, as I told you, for the 3 implementation modalities, the size up to 540 person months. About the duration, in case of a standard doctoral networks and industrial doctorates, 48. The joint doctorate has an incentive of 12 more months, so 60 months. The contract of the fellows for standards and industrial doctorates from 3 to 36. Another incentive for joint doctorates, 48 months of duration. Secondments for standards, up to 1/3 of the contract duration of the doctoral candidates. For industrial doctorates and joint doctorates, there is no secondment limitation. What you should do in the moment to recruit a doctoral candidate, which are the eligible conditions. First of all, the researchers must be doctoral candidates, not in possession of a doctoral degree. Then the recruitment procedure should be open, equitable, impartial, merit-based, and transparent. You can check the Charter of Recruitment or the European Charter for Researchers and the Code of Conduct for Recruitment of Researchers. Any nationality, and for sure the mobility rule. The researcher must not have lived or carry out main activities in the country of the recruitment beneficiary for more than 1 year in the 3 years immediately before the recruitment date. And then, as my colleagues will share with you my presentation, I just put it here two slides, which are summaries of the points that I just told to you about the consortium, the recruitment, and the different between the 3 implementation months. Then about the funding mechanisms, the first thing to say is that the funding mechanism of the doctoral network is fully based off unit cost. What that means? That one eligible person month is equal to 1 unit, and the total cost are equal to the cost per unit multiplied by the number of units. Each of the units is divided into 2 categories, the researcher cost and the institutional cost. Here you can see. First of all, the researcher part, it is the contribution for recruitment researcher, or part A of the unit, and it's fully paid to the fellow. And then we have the institutional unit contribution, which is used by the development of the research career of the fellows, but distributed by the consortium. About the category A, we have different allowance. For example, the living allowance, that to have the brute amount, you have to multiply by the country correction coefficient. And then you will have this brute amount. You will have to deduce from this amount the different taxes, the social security, the direct taxes, and then you will have the net amount. About the mobility allowance and the family allowance, they are taxable depending on the country. So if you want to know more, it's better to contact your national contact point, who will inform you about the law of your country. Regarding the institutional cost, they are divided into research, training, and networking contribution that will be used to, for example, pay short secondments, visa fees, working permit, training, attending to conference, etc., etc. Management and direct contribution is to contribute to the project, for example, paying the salary of the project manager, or the preparation of reports, etc. And the indirect costs are costs related to the project, but not directly directed, like sent, for example, a letter via land post. Regarding the evaluation, our evaluations for next year will start once the call is closed, so the 25th of November. We will receive all the proposal. Well, it is important to mention that the people from my colleagues and me from the European Research Executive Agency, we do not assess any proposal. We are there to assure a smooth process and to monitor the procedure. So once we receive all the proposal, they are allocated to 3 independent external experts who will assess these proposals, and then another actor called vice chair or rapporteur will prepare a report. This report will be discussed and agreed by the individual experts already mentioned, and then once it is agreed in the comments, the score will be agreed to have a cohesion between the comments and the scores. Then we will have a central week in which all the vice chair will have meetings to assure a consistent across the evaluation. Once this is done, there will be a preparation of the ranking list, and you will receive a letter with the results. These are the 3 criteria that are assessed. The excellent, which is the 50% of the scoring, the impact, which represent the 30% of the scoring, and the implementation, which is the 20% of the scoring. In excellent, there are different sub-criteria that will be assessed, like methodology, training program, supervision, innovation and of the objectives, the research, etc. In impact, the impact in the foreseen impact in the career of the doctoral candidates and the institutions, but also the expected scientific, societal, and economic impact. Implementation, in general, it is the individual capacity, operational capacity of each of the institutions, but also of the consortium as a whole. For this, there are parts that are assessed, like the work plan, the risk assessment table, or the effort. And then how to apply? First thing, wait until the 28th of May. This date, the call will be open. So you will need to go to the funding and tender portal. And here you will have all the necessary information to prepare your proposal. You will find the template of the proposal, which is divided into two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is related to the data of the institutions. There is information also about ethics, and please take care of this part and complete it properly. Part B, it's about the content, it's about the science, the project. It is divided into Part B1. Take care, here I would like to say you, take care about the number of pages. Only 30 pages can be submitted. From the 30 page, the Part B is cut and it's not assessed. So please take care of this point. And Part B2, which there are information regarding, for example, the operational capacity of each of the entities participating. The proposal preparation, it takes time. Don't do it in 50 days if it is impossible. First of all, read the documents, read the proposal and evaluation form. Do it properly. Once you think it's finished, send to another beneficiary. 4 eyes see more than 2 eyes. If you have doubts, please contact your national contact points. And I already told you to duly complete the Part A is very important, that there is no mismatch between Part A and Part B. And what can I say more? Think like an evaluator, so write for an evaluator. Then I would like to tell you about one Info Day event that we will have in the coming days. If you are interested in submitting a proposal, maybe it's a good idea. It is a good idea that you participate in this event. It is an online event, take place on the 24th of June via the RTD platform. My colleagues will give you a lot of tricks and information which are very important to complete your proposal, and you will also have the opportunity to submit your questions via Slido. They will reply to them on live. Then a couple of slides about how to find partners and build a consortium. There is not a perfect way to find partners, but I think the most important thing is to have clear ideas. So, compose the consortium. You need academic institutions. It is not mandatory for all implementation modes, but is really strongly recommended to have non-academic organization if the topic allows you to have it. It's a really good complement for projects. Then start identifying the coordinator, then the research you want to produce, and the partners who you will need. They need to be complementary experts. They need to have complementary expertise. Once you have that, you have to start designing each of the individual research projects and the secondments that they will need to develop the project, the training, the soft skills. All those things will little by little produce a proposal. Then, how to find partners? One of the most important things, in my opinion, is the networking activities. Start to participate in networking activities if you are not doing that, because you will have a lot of interesting people, researchers, and beneficiaries interested in being part of a project. So I already mentioned it to you, the Horizon Europe Info Days that will take place the 24th of June. But also in EuroAccess, there is a section very interesting called brokerage events. And why not the Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī Actions Networking Events? And then there is a website so interesting because it has a lot of information, not only about partners, but also about fellows who were or who would like to be doctoral candidates. This is the Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī Actions Alumni Association. Then there are a few European Commission platforms that you can use to find partners. For example, the Funding and Tender portal, it has a research section in which you can add the type of project that you are going to develop, the kind of institutions that you are looking for, and even the country, and you will find partners there. Cordis, another way to find partners is to look for your scientific field of expertise. There are a lot of projects, almost all projects of doctoral networks are there. And then if you identify the topic, you can go to the project and you can see the beneficiaries. Another European Commission website, which is so interesting to find small, medium-sized enterprises, are Enterprise European Network. And why not? And always, I will repeat in each of my slides, the national contact points are there to help you. Now, a few slides about statistics. The first one is related to this year called 2024, and they are the number of proposals submitted. Just to give you an idea, we have a total number of 1,417 proposals, from which 1,249 were standard doctoral networks. We have 88 proposals which were joint doctorate and 80 proposal industrial doctorates. Regarding your countries and the submission figures, you can see that the country who participated more was Spain with 177 proposals. And then there are countries that participate mediums. It was, for example, France, 103, Denmark, 74, Austria, 42. Then we have Poland, 17 proposals, Lithuania, 8 proposals, Slovakia, 3 proposals, and Latvia, 1 proposal. It should be said that we expect to found over 150 projects with an indicated budget of 608.6 million. And we received proposals for 34 countries. Then regarding the goals 21, 22, and 23, the end contribution to member states, this is the graphic related to that. We have Germany, which contributed with 201.82 million. And then if you want to know about your countries, Poland, 18.05 million, Lithuania, 1.85, Slovakia, 1.38, and Latvia, 1.05. Regarding the kind of institutions, that in the 4 countries, the institutions that were which has an EU contribution, a higher EU contribution, were higher or secondary education establishment for the 4 countries with a very high participation. Then we have researcher organizations, and last but not least, the private non-profit entities. This graphic is related to countries, to the calls 21, 22, and 23. Then resources, I just added a few resources that you can use during your proposal, during the preparation of your proposals, and they will be very useful for that. And last slide about if you're not interested to submit a proposal, maybe you are interested in being an expert for our doctoral networks and know more about our environment. So to do that, you have to just complete several applications in our funding and tender portal in the tab called Work as an Expert. So thank you very much for attention. And I think this is all.